Welcome back. Good to have you along this evening. You're watching Ozarks Tonight. I'm David Oliver. We want to welcome back in for the broadcast this evening a fairly regular contributor of ours, Springfield Mayor Ken McClure, joining us via Zoom once again. Mr. Mayor, good to see you tonight.
Good to see you as well, David. Thank you so much for having me.
We're always glad to have you. We're going to be talking about a listening session coming up with the city here in about a week and a half. Before I get to that, though, I want to talk with you about what's making news with regard to COVID this week. The news that Pfizer has come out with a vaccine that is a potential of 90% effectiveness, if you will, in those that it is given to. What is your reaction first to that news, and what is your hope with regard to that news and how it may affect our community in the months to come?
Well, certainly it's excellent news, very welcome news. We've been waiting for this for a long time. I've been speaking with Clay Goddard at the Springfield Greene County Health Department, and he's very elated over that. So very optimistic as to when that might be available, what the rollout plans are. I know Dr. Williams at the state level was talking about that in front of the General Assembly's committee yesterday. In terms of how that impacts us, my personal thought has always been that it would take a vaccine really to start to turn things around. We're going to do our best to keep our cases under control as best as we can. But probably we're not going to, as a nation, get out of this until we have a vaccine. And so that's just excellent news. And in my opinion, the sooner the better, recognizing that we have protocols that have to be adhered to and we have distribution plans and all of that. But just so pleased to hear that news.
Okay. And we should mention as well, the masking ordinance in Springfield goes through January. We'll have to, I assume, revisit that as we move forward with regard to the vaccine, correct?
Right. We continue to watch all of the data on that, and that's why we put this in 90-day increments, because as we know, things change quickly. So we're watching it very closely, and we'll get the latest information that we have before we determine what the next course is post-January 9.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, let's change gears and talk about the upcoming listening session that you all have scheduled for Monday, November 23rd. It's going to be from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Breach School of Business over at Drury in the Will Hoyt Auditorium. This is designed for you all to get some feedback, if you will, from your constituents regarding several different issues: crime, race issues in our community, and also race issues with regard to policing. Let's talk about what you hope to glean from that listening session on the 23rd.
Well, certainly a lot has happened in our nation in the last several months. The tragic event of George Floyd in Minneapolis and all the questions that have been raised about racial equality, racial inclusiveness, diversity, appropriate police tactics are very appropriate. And it's focused our attention, rightfully so, on questions that we need to ask. What we want to learn from this is the true citizens' impact. And according to what we're hearing, but more importantly, we're going to be taking a citizen survey, which will be statistically sound and tell us really what's on the community's mind with regard to these three important issues. We want to gather all of this in advance of a retreat that council will hold in December. And we usually hold a retreat around once a year at some point to talk about our council priorities. Chief among them for this topic will be the public safety priority.
You know, as you talk about that retreat and what you hope to glean from this listening session, we should mention that there have already been some productive meetings in terms of input between, I know, our local NAACP and our police department with regard to at least race issues and policing in our community. I would assume you're hoping to get some of that same feedback from other constituents who may come to that session on the 23rd.
That's correct. We want to hear what the community is thinking. You indicated the discussions, very good ones, with groups such as the NAACP. Our city manager, Jason Gage, our police chief, Paul Williams, have done an excellent job of listening, I think, and then reporting back to council. And we've taken some very firm action as we're looking at hiring a diversity and inclusion officer at the city level. And I give kudos to city manager Gage for finding the funding for that in a tough year. Also looking at body cameras on our police officers, supported by the police officers, by the way. And then also, as we look at changing the makeup of the Citizens Advisory Board for our police department, as we want to be able to make sure that that is as inclusive as possible. So those are actions we've already taken. But it's a good time to refocus. Are we headed in the right direction? Do we need to make changes? What works? What doesn't? That's what we hope to learn. So we want to hear directly from the citizens, but we've also got means to hear from them through others than just coming and speaking. They can call in and record through Zoom an audio presentation. They can also send emails. All of those comments are made available to City Council, and we do read them. We get a lot of good input, and so that's the purpose. Hearing from the citizens is always very, very helpful.
Yeah, I think one of the takeaways would be the fact that, the NAACP and the police department in the city had meetings, and something came out of that. Change came out of those meetings. And so perhaps this would be a good motivating, indicator for people to come to this session on the 23rd over at Drury at the Breach School of Business, 6 to 8 p.m., because their input may also spur change.
Correct. We try to listen to what people say, and you get a wide variety of opinions, and that's to be expected. So council's challenge has been to try to sift through, see what works, see what needs to be done, what changes need to be made. I know everyone's very eager to listen through this. So what's happened the last several months has been very appropriate in provoking the discussion, provoking the change that's needed to happen. But we're not through. We need to see where we need to go from here.
We got about 30 seconds left, Mr. Mayor. I'm just curious, what is your message to the community as we inch closer now to Thanksgiving to kick off the holiday season? It's been a challenging year. We all know that.
Well, my message first is that we have so much for which to be grateful. It's been a difficult year, unprecedented, and I recognize that people have had challenges. But let's give thanks for what we have. We have a good community. We have a collaborative community. We have a caring community. And so let's give thanks for all of that. Secondly, let's be careful. Let's make sure that we follow all of the appropriate protocols, as difficult as that is. It's a time to be with family, but let's be careful, because we do see, I believe, with the vaccine coming, an end to this. Can't get here quickly enough, in my opinion, but let's stay the course until such time as we get that. Be careful over Thanksgiving, and be grateful for what we have. And
I just want to remind our viewers again, 6 to 8 p.m. on Monday, the 23rd of this month, over at the Breach School of Business on the campus at Drury in the Will Hoyt Auditorium. You can give your input to the city leaders about those various issues. Mr. Mayor, you have a nice Thanksgiving, and good to see you. We'll have you back again soon.
David, thank you so much. You have a nice Thanksgiving as well.
Okay, we'll have more Ozarks tonight after this quick break.